Hi everyone, hope you're doing well today. I'm very excited. I recently got a new product that I'm going to be making a review on soon to see whether it's good or not. Here's what I received. This is the Inovelli 4-in-1 sensor. The things that it can sense is first motion. It has a temperature sensor to be able to read the temperature of any given room. And it also has two more interesting sensors, the first being an illuminance sensor. What that can be used for is measuring how bright a room is, measured in lux. So it would be able to give you the exact brightness measurement of any given room that the sensor is in. The last sensor it has is a humidity sensor, and it will be able to tell you the exact relative humidity of any room that you install this in. The first two sensors, the motion sensor and temperature sensor, are pretty straightforward. You can use that motion sensor to connect to lights, and whenever you enter a room, then the lights will turn on. Same thing with a temperature sensor. That's more straightforward. But illuminance and humidity, I have to think of some ideas for. So for illuminance, a good idea might be to set it up in your kitchen. You could use the motion sensor to turn lights on whenever you go into the room and to turn off whenever you leave. However, if you have a large, bright window, you might not need to have your lights turn on if the illuminance in the room is high enough. What would be the point in paying for the electricity to have those lights on, right? So if you had the illuminance sensor sensing the brightness in the room, whenever someone walked into the room, it would first check the brightness, and if the room was bright enough because of the windows being open, then the lights wouldn't turn on. Then maybe in the evening as the sun goes down, those lights could turn on if someone was in the room. It would be dependent on the external conditions. Or even if you closed your blinds, then the lights would turn on. That would save you some money on your bill, and I think it would help a lot. That's something I'll definitely try out soon. And lastly, the humidity sensor. Well, I have a couple good ideas of how I could use this. First is in the bathroom. Usually when you're having a bath or a shower, your mirror will be covered in humidity, and then you'll have to turn on the fan to dry it off. But sometimes you forget to turn it off, and when you come back, you've noticed that you've just wasted a bunch of power leaving it on for no reason. You could use this sensor to read the humidity in the room and connect that to a smart switch connected to your fan. That way, whenever the humidity is high enough, the fan will turn on automatically and turn off whenever the room is dry enough. That's one way you could use it, and another is in the kitchen. Sometimes when you're cooking, the room can get pretty humid and even make your windows wet if you're making pasta or boiling a sauce or something. That way, if you use the humidity sensor connected to a smart switch connected to your range fan, whenever the humidity is raised to a certain point, that fan will turn on, lowering the humidity in the room, and then turn off once the room is dry enough. And because this sensor has 4 different sensors built in, I want to try to test them all. So I'll set up in the kitchen that whenever I walk into the room, the lights will turn on, but they won't turn on if the light is bright enough in the room already. And then once the humidity is high enough, I want that sensor to be hooked up to my fan to turn off to lower the humidity. That's how I'm going to test it to see if this works or not. And this has so much built into a single product. It's proof that you wouldn't have to buy a specific sensor for humidity, temperature, light, all these different things. So, thank you, and be smart.